What's going on, guys? In this video, we're gonna try to wrap up a lot of the orchestration principles that we've been going through in this module. And I want to show you some of my personal kind of workflows for basically orchestrating a piece of music. So I've taken one of the themes that we have explored a bit less in the melody and harmony chapters in the structuring module. And I'm gonna show you how I would go about orchestrating this. And when I say orchestrating, I mean focusing on the orchestration and not necessarily making the perfect mock-up, because that's going to be something we're looking at in the next phase. So now, like, purely the focus is on kind of just getting down the ideas, getting down the thoughts of, okay, which instrument is playing what at a given time, and then having all the foundations needed to really just fine-tune this in the mock-up stage, making it sound as good and as realistic as possible, and then mix it into a final track. So now I'm going to take this piano sketch that we're going to listen to in a second, and I'm going to quickly kind of create the foundation for the mock-up stage. Okay, so now I have the piano sketch in front of me. This kind of contains most of the main elements. I don't have the counter melody and stuff in here, which I could do, but for now I'm just going to keep it simple. And we will put in some counter melodies as well. But this is basically how a lot of my orchestrations come to be. I have a fairly kind of, well, it's a loose structure, but it is a structure that I usually just tend to follow. And it is starting with a melody, mapping out the whole melody line here, giving it to different instruments. Maybe it's one group of instruments, maybe it is, bouncing between different instruments. Whatever it is, I'll start with a melody, and then the next thing that I do is usually adding the bass line, working on the bass, because then suddenly you have kind of the framework. And what I do next then is I work on the harmony, and I record that sometimes with, like, this is where I would use a string ensemble patch, because it makes me able to just record the harmonic content really fast and make it sound, half decent. And then I can split them out up into voices, different voices in the mock-up stage. And then when that is done, I'll, put in the extra things like an ostinato and the counter melody and maybe any background textures and things like that. So I basically just work my way down from the most essential things, which is like the melody and the harmonic foundation, add the filling elements like the counter melodies and stuff, and then work my way out to the details. And whenever I'm happy with whatever I'm doing, like I usually try to, roughly orchestrate the whole track. But whenever I'm ready to, realize that, okay, I'm good to go, I'm ready to, work on the details and just finish this mock-up, that's when I move over to kind of the mock-up stage or the mock-up mindset. I want to do strings as like a lead feature in the beginning of this. So I'll do at least a violin 1 first. I'll use Metropolis Arc 4 legatos and Nucleus from Audio Imperio legatos. All right, so let me just try to record that. All right, so there I have the foundation of some of the melody. And you can see that I left a gap. And this is because I don't want the strings to be like dominating this part. I want the woodwinds and maybe a choir kind of take over this. So the shift is not only happening tonally, as we looked at in the modulation that's happening, but also in the tone colors that's presented. So let's listen to the recording I did. Okay, so just like immediately, this needs some work. Like, faster. Slightly faster as well. Like, you want to fix these timing issues just so it sounds good. Alright, big break. Also a bit too rushed. The modulation, I want that to be a bit higher because it seems a bit soft right here. So, do is that I'll go to draw mode. I'll just do that. That's a bit better. All right, and then I'm just gonna copy that over to this one as well. Now we have this. All right, and what I'm gonna do, I want the flute probably to double this as well, just to give it a bit more of a round tone color. Because remember, we're kind of painting with tone colors here. I'm pretty sure this is the legato, yeah. And then I think I want the bassoon and the oboe probably to take over here. I'll start with the oboe. It's a bit high up. That's a bit better. Let's see if I'm not sure if I like something weird with the string here. Just gonna fix that. Starts a bit early, I think. That's better. So I'm just gonna copy that over here and just make sure the flute is updated as well. That's alright for now. Alright, so we have the oboe here. I think I want to do the same for the bassoon. So I'm just going to copy that down here as well. And that's going to be a bit too high for this. But I might do an octave below. So then we have the woodwinds kind of coming in and taking over this part. I might also actually do choirs. Let's see what that sounds like. If I can find the sopranos, maybe. Like, just to save time, I'm gonna see if the Alright, that's of course the modulation info that makes it way too loud, so I'm just gonna take that all the way down. Let's see, all the way down here. Just making the choir kind of, you know, get a bit more intense at the end there, nothing too crazy. Now suddenly we have, you know, a tone color that's evolving a bit more. And I might maybe add some warmth to this section with a cello as well. That's playing very soft. And again, let's see if we can use the same MIDI, because I'm just again trying to save time and, you know, block out the main elements here now. Alright, I don't want the cello in the first part. It's a bit too, like, dominant, but in the second part, it's gonna make it grow and lift a bit more, so it's not too, like, stagnating or anything. So we'll do that. Alright, so I have the basic kind of outline here. What I know I do want though in the first part is that I want this to be violins in octaves. So I'm gonna like double this, take it 1 octave up, and then, or wait, hold on. No, I want it to be an octave down because I already did the upper octave. Sorry. Then duplicate that here. That's more like it. All right, so this is only violin 1 and 2, by the way. I just have 2, like kind of, I like the intimate sound of the Metropolis Arc 4. It's a lot of detail, and the violins and nucleus has the more soaring Hollywood sound. So when I combine them, it's really nice sound. All right, so what's next? Well, we got the chords. I'm just going to use an ensemble patch here. Probably a combination of choirs and strings just to map out the general harmony. Or, well, you know what? I'm going to start with the bass because that's what I usually do. And I just want to show you what an effect that makes. So let's start with a double bass and go from the top. All right, so I have like a mix of arc low strings and cinematic studio strings basses, I believe, that I'm going to be using for the basses here. Having a little swell at the end. I think this was, yeah, too low to even be played, so I'm gonna move that up an octave. And for the bass in between, I'm gonna just use this one, which is only nucleus, which is gonna give it a softer kind of tone. Just doubling that. All right, so we got the bass down. Next thing is what I was getting to before, which is the string chords. I'm just going to use an ensemble patch, which is cinematic studio strings, or no, it's trailer strings, this one. So I'm just going to use that. Just outline the harmonies.